To begin with my second work-in-progress video, I would like to discuss about Tasty Beats, an installation that creates drinkable mocktails based on the audience's physical activity. By detecting the participants' heartbeat, the system will accordingly match it with the designed flavor in the system, then combining different flavors in real time, and at the end forms a unique energy drink. This work explores the theme of edible material representation of physical activity by celebrating heart rate data in an interactive and engaged way, enriching the experience of being physically active. It has contributed to the field of human-computer interaction in the human energy cycle and poses new possibilities for designers to create engaging interactions and experiences around food and beverage. Personally, this work's theme is closely related to the theme of the Banh object, which I will discuss in the next part of this video. Now I will present a set of works and objects that I've made during the past 2 weeks, including objects I made in character plays and simulation that have significantly generated a lot of insights and contribute to the ideation of Studio One that has emerged through the process of making. Beginning is a collection of works that I've made in CBS Week 1, 3, and 4 that responds to the class weekly prompt but also related to the bigger theme of food, culture, and human interaction that I proposed at the beginning of Studio One. First is the interactive banh mi, inspired by the culturally internationally famous Vietnamese dish, banh mi. This work celebrates the playfulness in Vietnamese pronunciation, in particular tonality of language, by making the object respond to how the user says it. Not only responds to CBS prompt, this has sparked some initial ideas related to culture learning and teaching, at the same time highlighting playfulness and keeping it at the core of the experience. Some insights that have emerged from the making of this object include a possibility of making a form of interactive gameplay that encourages voice matching, abstract visualization of tonation, and representation of tonal properties of sound through animation. In a bigger umbrella, it may or can lead to some work that contributes to the field of culture education through playful, interactive, engaging experience. Second is the interactive bubble tea, which celebrates food and cultural vibes and visualizes the shift in human mood before and after eating, drinking. Through the making, I have explored further the playfulness that involves in the interpretation of mood shifts affected by food consumption, as well as playful web interaction using scrolling and hovering by bringing into light a culturally significant drink. Third is Japanese dining setting, which presents the shift in environment while eating, inspired by a Japanese restaurant that suggests no distraction and interaction while consuming food. I did a small casual research by posting my work online and asked my friends if they prefer to eat alone or together. The outcome was surprising in terms of how so many Asian friends of mine in Asia prefer to eat alone and how 100% the Asians who are currently in Melbourne prefer to eat together. This has shaped my thinking of the togetherness in making and eating food, and how the celebration and the value of togetherness can be drastically different based on the culture you come from and the culture that you have been immersed in. For example, if I were still in my home country, where eating together and presenting on time in meal times is a significant cultural duty, I wouldn't appreciate the togetherness as much as when I'm far away from home in a different country. And in a position, I believe my Australian friends who prefer to eat together would like to prefer to eat alone if they weren't raised to be more independent at young age and exposed to Asian family traditions. Overall, this work has piqued an interest and shaped my thinking of the togetherness in making and eating food. Apart from these 3 objects done in CPS, I made an animated process of making Chung, a dish that I discussed and presented in a simplified animated test using Spline in the last work-in-progress video. The cake and the process of making represent and highlight the togetherness in Vietnamese culture, which is one of the core aspects in food and culture theme that I want to explore further, inspired by CBS object that I have just showed. The process of making the dish has some special meaning to me as a kid growing up seeing being together, as duty and forceful, and I appreciate and value that aspect more than ever when being immersed in different cultural settings and being far away from home for a long time. The process of making this object includes remodeling the dish, breaking down the process of making the dish, and exploring various methods of 3D animation, including using symmetry, clone objects, steps factors to create delay, deformations such as bend, squash, and organic movements through animating vertices frame by frame. I also played around with the texture in a playful way to highlight the importance of the ingredient in the dish and our culture, like the gloriousness and the shininess of the banana leaf, the star ingredient, the glossiness and illuminating glow of yellow mung beans, and the translucent pearlescent white of rice grain. This wrapping cake animation has prompted a direction in making an animated piece that can be used for culture teaching, which possibly can evoke the feelings of togetherness in the audience coming from similar backgrounds and giving new insights to the audience coming from other cultures. After the consultations with Kate and Uyên, who are both inspirational in helping me break down the essence of each object and form the connection between food-related objects that I have produced so far, my direction towards the end of Folio 1 has been narrowed down significantly and become clearer. It includes the tonality of language through interactive gameplay and the togetherness in food making and eating. The next stage of my process would include exploring further the communication of togetherness by animating more objects, bringing the animated objects from Cinema 4D to Unity for compatibility testing, and thinking more about the relationship and emotions that I want to evoke, whether it's playfulness through interaction or absorption through a piece of animation. Thank you for watching.